Welcome back, America. We have a very dear friend of mine, Zuhdi Jasser, Dr. Zuhdi Jasser. He's former U.S. Navy Lieutenant Commander. He's the founder. He has formed the American Islamic Forum for Democracy. He's running for Congress in Arizona. Boy, we can use you in Congress, man, I'll tell you that. Now, that said, you talk and have written about political Islam, CARE, Hamas, all these entities, these radical terrorist organizations. We saw the horrors that took place in Australia, the horrors that are taking place in Africa, the horrors that are taking place in the Middle East, October 7th, and the horrors that are taking place in the United States of America. I get the sense, Zuhdi Jasser, that what you refer to as political Islam, or what they refer to as jihadi Islamists, they're here in our country now, aren't they?
You cannot overstate the threat, Mark. And, we've been talking about it for decades, since 9/11, as a whack-a-mole program, and it's no longer a whack-a-mole. This is a sonic boom that we saw over the last week between all of the different threats. And Israel and the Jewish community have been at the head of that spear. Why? Because the radicals divide the world into the land of Islam and the land of war. The rest is war. So the West, be it Australia, Israel, Europe, or America, is to them the land of war. And they're so-called lone wolves. They're not lone. This is not even a pack of wolves. This is battalions of wolves that are in our country, in our borders, and this is a domestic and global battle. And as you so poignantly pointed out, we're 250 years into an experiment in American liberty that is the greatest democracy in the planet, that was founded on battling theocracy. And I, as a Muslim, my family came to this country because they could be more free here than in any so-called Muslim majority country that is all run by an establishment of theocrats, of petro-Islamists from Qatar to every other dictatorship in the Middle East. And they're radicalizing their community by having a supremacism that Islamic law should reign, and it's not about individual rights and freedom. And either we come to task with the battle before us. We've declared war on Nazism, communism, and we had the clarity and the moral courage, as you laid out, to fight those ideas. And when we finally had resolve, when we took an offense ideologically, we defeated communism without firing a bullet against them. Political Islam, Islamist theocracy, is at the same stage. And either we come to task with the battle or we're going to crumble. And the Jewish community has been at the head of that spear, and we need to support them, and we need to support our freedoms.
Very well said, Zuhdi Jasser. Let me ask you this. Am I right that the Democrat Party has essentially been devoured by this radical movement? And I'm not talking about the reform movement. I'm talking about the radical element. And then we have sort of these neo-fascists who are trying to either devour the Republican Party or cripple the Republican Party, who in many ways sound similar to these Marxist Islamists on the left.
As I testified to Congress repeatedly, I said, listen, if you think this is just a Muslim problem, you are going to find yourself surrounded by other enemies that the Islamists are going to bring to their side. So when Qatar fuels the radicalization of people across the country in funding liberal, leftist, progressive university teachings, and then all of a sudden you find this Marxist, jihadist candidates in New York City like Mamdani and others, it's not a coincidence, because they demonize America. They use wokeism to infuse this cancerous ideology, and that wokeism infiltrates not only the left, but as you point out, it's infiltrating our own party and our own conservative movement, and we need to fight against it, because true liberty, true American ideology against theocracy cannot be relegated to identity politics. It's about meritocracy. And the left was radicalized and is radicalized. And all of a sudden, our kids and their friends are looking at America as the enemy, when in fact, my children are taught that America is a shining city on the hill and we need to defend it. And this is how we win wars, is by naming the enemy, which is Marxist jihadism, and not being weak and withering behind identity politics.
Very well said. When we return, look, I know what the Democrat leaders are like. You have Bernie Sanders, you have this mass slaughter in Australia, and he blames Netanyahu. That's how sick that guy is. I mean, utterly off the edge of the earth. But are you concerned that not enough Republican leaders are speaking out? A few of them are, but I really think they should be speaking out so loudly that it's deafening at this point. Because if the Republican Party doesn't stop this, or the conservative movement doesn't stop this, it's not going to be stopped.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.